Thanks for listening to another podcast from InsideCarolina.com. Brought to you by JohnnyT-shirt.com. Where to go for your next Tar Heel gear purchase.
Welcome into the Inside Carolina podcast. This is the Scoop, UNC's premier football recruiting podcast. I'm your host, Ross Martin, and as always, I'm joined by Donnie Scoops, Callahan. What's going on, Don?
Not too much. Just want to wish Cher a birthday. Turned 74 today on the day that we're recording. Other than that, things seem pretty promising as far as the coronavirus stuff. Some positive. We won't get into it too much, but some positive developments with everything. What's going on in Ross's world?
What are the positive developments?
Well, with a lot more openings, you had governors in California and I think some other states were saying how there will be pro sports this fall without fans, of course. And then there's been some things like I think it's Ohio State. Their players are going to report on campus on June 1st, I think it is. There's Notre Dame says that they're definitely going to have classes, those sort of things that everyone I'm sure has read, just kind of little bits and pieces that have shown signs of that there could realistically be a college football season. I think for the longest time, there hasn't been that. Yeah,
I think there's definitely going to be a college football season. I think I had talked to a source this morning, connected source. And
breaking news.
They're preparing for it. I think this is going to be very limited with fans, which is going to be interesting to see how they do the fan thing, because they can't have all the fans there. So it's either going to be 50% capacity or even less, and then it's like who can you sit with, things like that. So that'll be interesting to see how schools do that. I think UNC probably will look at kind of getting on campus, football team on campus in mid-June, maybe around that time. Nothing official there, just kind of guesstimating, and then go from there. So yeah, I think it'll probably start on time, and then I think a lot of schools have thought about ending the semester at Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
which is
a lot of this stuff I just don't understand. Like I get it. They're worried that these kids are going to go home and come back and bring their germs, but those same kids are going to be bringing a lot of the same germs with them when they enroll in August anyway. But whatever. This stuff doesn't make sense to me, but
yeah. No, I'm good. You asked earlier, I'm good. Same stuff. Let's kind of get into it here. We have a big show, so we're gonna go through. This is the itinerary. The new top 5 for the next show is gonna be your top 5 holidays. Give us your holidays. Can be religious, could be just fun, could be goofy, whatever ones you like to celebrate. Could be Groundhog Day for all we care. Top 5 holidays. Email Don. DM him on Twitter or DM him on Inside Carolina. We are going to go over some recruitments for the 2021 class. We have a couple of players we're going to give some updates on. We'll go through that, and then we're going to bring on Kaimon Rucker, a 2020 UNC signee, kind of the outside linebacker defensive end. He's going to be our special guest. We interview him and then go from there, and we're going to release our top 5, which is top 5 drinks. Does that sound good, Don? Did I miss anything?
I think you are on point, and I'm excited for it all.
Yeah. All right, so before we bring Rucker on, let's get some updates here. I read your scoop, and I've been kind of reading the message boards and kind of getting an idea of what's going on. We've had a little lull in UNC's recruiting. We haven't had too many commitments recently. I picked out 3 names. I want you to give me a brief update on what you think is going to happen and kind of what the update is on these guys. These I think, are kind of the biggest targets right now that could be making a decision in the next couple of weeks or months. All right. J.J. Jones, 4-star wide receiver out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
He's going to announce his verbal commitment on Friday at about 7 o'clock. I think he's going to announce it on Twitter. And, North Carolina is one of the 5 finalists. And I think things look very promising for the Tar Heels to complete their wide receiver haul on Friday.
Okay, great. 6'3" wide receiver. Kind of adds that outside, long, deep threat receiver to complement some of the other players they already have committed. Offers from Georgia, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Tennessee, all those schools there. J.J. Jones is going to make a decision on Friday, and UNC, I believe, leads in the crystal ball. Not that we can't make crystal ball picks. Okay. Let me check out my list here. Okay. A guy of a lot of interest for the Tar Heels, Jahvaree Ritzie, the big defensive lineman from Kernersville, North Carolina.
Yeah. So if the listener hasn't noticed a theme here with the three recruits that you have selected, all three of them have decision dates already scheduled, and Ritzie's is June 12th, his parents' anniversary. That's a new, I guess, sort of day to do a announcement. You've seen birthdays, you've seen mothers' birthdays, you've seen, I don't know if we've seen any fathers' birthdays, you've seen grandmothers' birthdays, but this is the first that I'm aware of that it's a parents' anniversary. So Ritzie has been a guy who I felt for a very long time that UNC was going to be the ultimate selection. He just seems to fit at North Carolina. His mom loves it and all that. Georgia's involved, Ohio State's involved, South Carolina's involved, Tennessee's involved. Things look really good in this recruitment also for North Carolina.
Jahvaree Ritzie, yeah. I mean, if you listen to our Steve Wiltfong podcast, which was I think 3 weeks ago, great podcast, and I actually transcribed majority of it. It's an article you can probably find somewhere on the message boards there. But Steve Wiltfong was very high on Ritzie's athleticism and his ability to make plays and be an impact player at 6 foot 4.5, 275 pounds. A little track background, comes from a good family and would be I think a great fit and addition. Teammates with Ra Dilworth, an outside linebacker commit for the Tar Heels. The crystal ball reads 100% for UNC. And if you look on people's profiles, you notice the confidence picks is an addition to the crystal ball, I guess 24/7 Sports crystal ball type of brand there. So check out those confidence picks. It shows how confident certain experts are in these players committing to certain schools. And there's usually some article tied to a lot of these picks as well. Okay, Jahvaree Ritzie, I think, he is a guy that, I think UNC fans kind of are super excited about. All starts up front with defensive linemen, in-state guy, super athletic, and would really, with him and some other players, really cement that defensive line for a couple of years. Okay, Ritzie. And when he's announcing, when is that? June, you said?
June 12th. He is announcing.
Anniversary. When's your anniversary, Don?
December 4th. I'm assuming you're talking about my wedding anniversary.
Yes. What other anniversary would it
be? The anniversary of our friendship. There is a day. Right. Do you know what that day is? I think it was in June.
Of our friendship?
Yes. Is it June or July? With the photo?
Oh, yeah. Did Jake Lawler's mom take the photo? Or did Jake take it?
It was a recruit. It wasn't Jake. I don't think it was Jake Lawler's mom, but it was a recruit, I believe. So we'll have to go and dig into the.
Jake took a photo.
Yeah. So we'll have to go and
I do remember when you got mad. I remember you got mad at me when I scooped you.
There was no get mad at you because
the Zamir White scoop.
Yeah, I don't. I remember it vaguely.
For the listeners, I dropped some intel. And
I remember what it was. I reported it, and then you made it free, which
but I had the same intel. I did not take your intel because I had an in there with a source.
To me, I thought it was convenient that I reported it, and then.
But I had it first. I had it first, though.
I reported it first. I don't know who had it first, but I mean, as soon as I was given,
and then Don was a little baby and didn't talk to me.
I was irritated that you know how it is. Well, you're in a different. My thing is all about the premium stuff. So obviously, whenever I get irritated with the blogs that do this. That when I have premium content and they just basically read my content and just post it. So that does irritate me. Of
course.
But I'm assuming I was in the same situation as you were, where I had a source who basically told me, here's what's going to happen, but you can't say anything until I give you the green light because I'm going to give you the green light once Zamir is in the car heading to Chapel Hill. Because the fear was that if it got out beforehand that he would be talked out of visiting. So I had to wait for the.
So we might have had different sources because I just ran it and I made it free. I was at a point where I was like, man, if I get any intel, I'm putting it out there because I got to beat Don. All right,
gotcha.
Moving on. All right, so we went through J.J. Jones, went through Jahvaree Ritzie. Now Zaire Patterson is an interesting prospect, defensive end out of the Winston-Salem area, 6'6" guy, 4-star. What's going on with his recruitment, and what can you kind of tell our listeners about Zaire Patterson?
So for North Carolina, 2 out of 3 ain't bad with this trio that we're talking about. His commitment announcement is May 26th. I'm not going to get into a lot of details, but we break down in the Weekly Scoop what's going on with him. So definitely check that out. That was probably the main topic in the discussion after the Weekly Scoop.
Yeah, so check out the Weekly Scoop for the update on Zaire Patterson. There's only 2 crystal ball picks made. They're both for Clemson. You can see that on his profile there. And this is a guy that Don all along, it's been kind of interesting recruitment. It seems like he doesn't talk much and doesn't really provide much intel. And Don's been pretty clear with that moving forward, that it's been kind of in the dark, and he kind of operates a little bit differently, Zaire Patterson there. All right, great. So that's an update. There's a lot more info on the Weekly Scoop. Don goes through almost every major target that UNC is pursuing right now. So there's names that I didn't know as well. So check out the Weekly Scoop. You can subscribe to Inside Carolina. There's always great deals to subscribe. There's free trials. There's 60% off. There's 75% off. All these different deals. So check that out. We're going to take a quick break now, and we'll come back with an interview with Kaimon Rucker. Now I want to talk to you about Johnny T-Shirt and JohnnyT-Shirt.com. There are loyal podcast subscribers at Inside Carolina, right on Franklin Street, and online at JohnnyT-Shirt.com. For those who are Inside Carolina subscribers, there is a discount code on the premium message boards for basketball and football. Grab that code, go online, go to the store, get your sweatshirts, your shirts, your T-shirts, your jerseys, your toboggans, your hats, everything. It's a packed store, great selection, and get ready for football season. We're locked and loaded. Football is going to happen, whether you're watching it at home. Well, actually, all right, I'm not making that guarantee. It's likely football is going to happen, whether you're watching at home or in Keene Stadium. Make sure you're set for gear, gifts, a lot of birthdays, holidays, weddings coming up. I think, hey, for wedding gift, a couple T-shirts for the bride and groom, or the groom and the bride and bride. We don't like to discriminate here. So anything you want to get, I think Carolina gear is a great gift. And now we're going to bring on Kaimon Rucker. And we want to welcome on Kaimon Rucker, a 6 foot, 243-pound outside linebacker, defensive end type player from Hart County High School in Hartwell, Georgia. He is part of the signing class for UNC, the 2020 signing class. What's going on, Kaimon?
Nothing much. How about yourself?
We're great. And I'm going to turn over to Don now for our first question.
Hey, Kaimon, so right. you actually, with your recruitment, it was a little bang, especially for UNC fans. You came into the Showtime camp and you did not have an offer. You get the offer, and then you committed actually, like I think 4 days later. But let's go back to heading into the Showtime camp. What were the coaches kind of telling you about just the prospects of scoring a scholarship offer from North Carolina?
First of all, the camp, it was amazing. The camp, like how they had everything set up. They kind of showed you how everything was, campus and academically, and how everything ran at Chapel Hill, with underneath coach of the Mac Brown. And when they did that, that was truly a great experience. But just like them telling me like after, like before getting the scholarship, they didn't really know me like that. Coach Bateman, he actually invited me up. He knew a little bit about me. He heard about me, and he was like, "Hey, you should come up to this camp." And I was down for it. I said I'd come up. And like I said, not a lot of people know me except Coach Bateman himself, and that was the first day I met Coach Brown and all this other kind of stuff. But after the fact, after I got done doing like all the type of drills and stuff, and they got me the offer, it was like the connection sparked then, and it was a great feeling.
Yeah, especially for the Showtime camp, you have a lot of guys who I actually think the majority of the guys there have offers heading into it. What's your mindset? What's your preparation heading into a camp like that, where your goal is to come out with an offer?
If I had to sum it down to one thing, is just fear no one. I consider myself overlooked. I have considered myself overlooked in the recruiting process just because of like my height and my size. For a defensive end at first, and then outside linebackers, they look for, especially in your typical 3-4 defenses, they look for your taller, slimmer kind of guys to rush off the edge because they have a quicker step than an offensive tackle. But regardless of my of the size of the measurements that I wasn't blessed with, what God has blessed me with is just not to fear anyone and a great get off and all this other type of things. But if I had to sum it all down, I would just say not to fear anyone, because I don't fear anybody. I don't care how many stars you have. I don't care what your credentials are. I don't care what your measurements are. It's just gonna be me and you at the end of the day, and only one can come out victorious, and I feel like that's gonna be me.
I actually have a question for Ross. Ross, what are you thinking about that mentality that Kaimon just described?
Boom, love it. The underdog mentality, a little bit overlooked, and hungry to prove the doubters wrong. That's what you need to excel, man. You gotta have that drive. MJ had that drive. He thought of something, and he thought of something that drove him, and that drove him his whole career.
Yeah, and let me just to kind of, I guess, wrap up your recruitment. You get the offer, and then I don't know if you remember, I think it was 2 days later, you and I talked, we did an interview, and at that point, I'm trying to reach back my memory, you had told me that you were probably going to wait until the end of the summer to make a commitment, but you actually ended up making a commitment 4 days after receiving the offer. So what were those 4 days like heading into the decision to make the commitment, and why did you decide to make it then as opposed to waiting a little bit longer?
The reason I made that decision so early is because, I mean, I just felt that instant connection. Like I said, it's like it's like when I got there on campus, I wasn't really known. I mean, like, I just got my stars. I mean, like, stars is only for people that make it big in camps, and depending on how big your name is and how good you've done in certain camps or whatnot. Went to the MVP camp. I earned my stars, and that was pretty cool. But I still wasn't known. That doesn't make me an automatic, like, high recruit. So when I came in there, nobody really knew me. And then when I got that offer, I mean, still not a lot of people knew me, but if they knew who I was, if that made sense. Like, I've got the coach's attention now. And um when I got that offer or whatever, and then I saw campus, it's like everything started clicking and all this other kind of stuff. And I discussed it with my parents. I was like, guys, I mean, I know I said I was gonna wait until this day, but I feel like this is the one. I feel like this is the college. That's it. I feel like this is it. And they were like, already? I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm narrowing down my options. I thought about this, and like, it was a whole long, drawn out process. We were talking about it. My parents told me to pray about it and all this other kind of stuff. And I was just like, yo, this is it, man. Like, there is no other option. And I'm not bashing all the other colleges that offer me. Like Georgia Southern and all them. I truly thank them for giving me a shot when nobody else did. But it was just like UNC. They just really had that special. They held that special part of me in my heart for me, and I committed then.
Yes, you committed June 19th, which was 4 days after that camp and after you got that offer. A little inside recruiting here. Did UNC kind of pressure you to recruit, to commit? You know, they offered you and they said, you have a spot if you want to take it. Were they like, all right, you got to kind of move on this offer? Because they're probably obviously looking at other players as well. How does that conversation go down? And was that something that UNC did? I mean, pressure, maybe not the right word, but I guess you kind of know what I'm saying. Like, hey, this offer's here, and we want you to take it if you take it, you know, relatively soon. Did that happen?
Yeah, it did. I mean, like, you call it what you want. I was persuaded, pressured, just kind of like swayed on to the side. I mean, yeah, I did. I was in some sort of way pressured to commit, but at the same time, when your heart's already set to do something, then it's not necessarily pressure. Of course, It's like with my recruitment, I was curious to see how far it went, because I got another Power 5 offer from Louisville in the ACC, and then I got it from North Carolina in the ACC, and then I was just like, oh dang, I'm getting 2 Power 5 offers. I want to see how far it goes. My curiosity. Yeah. I mean, like, I want to see how far I get. Maybe I'll get a SEC offer. Maybe I'll be closer to home, kind of situation. But when opportunity hits you, man, you don't want to take it for granted at all. And it's like, it's better to have one bird in the hand and then lose 2 in the bush. Like, that was my mentality. That's my dad's mentality. He was just like, look, you already got this offer. It's Power 5. It's the defense that you want to run and that you're familiar with, because we ran the same thing in high school. This is a place that you feel like you want to be. You love the relationships, the coaching staff, the environment, the place, and all this other kind of stuff. Do not lose this opportunity. And I was thinking the same way. And so it's like, yes, I was kind of, I don't like to consider it pressure, because pressure has a negative connotation to it.
Yeah.
But But yes, I was kind of like, hey, I was kind of told like, hey, you don't have that much time because we got a lot of other people to look at, and I understand college is a business. It's not like you're playing 21 at the basketball court and you pick 21 and you pick like 5 players or however many people you got on the court. Like I choose you, and like you have unlimited players. Like that's not how it works, and I understand that, but you know, I had to make a decision, and it's point blank. And I know that's how college is. You got to make a decision. There is no waiting on you. Like, you're either leaving with or you get left. Is either way.
Good. That was awesome. Awesome kind of explanation there. Yeah, I think the casual recruiting fan doesn't understand the nuances of recruiting. Where like, yeah, there's a certain amount of spots, and sometimes you kind of get an offer, and they want a couple guys for it, so it's kind of a first come first serve type deal. And that's kind of how it works with some recruits for sure. What kind of drew you? You like the coaches. Bateman was recruiting you. You like the system. And when you got on campus, what kind of maybe outside football did you like about UNC? It seems like you're a bright guy, so I'm sure academics was kind of played a role as well. But what else about UNC stood out beyond maybe the football stuff?
Of course, that like you said, academically, yes, that's really stuck out to me. I know one day my ball's gonna go flat for football, so you know what? I gotta have my degree to do another career in. I gotta do something else. Like with me, naturally, I don't like just to sit here and do nothing. I gotta do something, and so I'm actually planning on my desired major is exercise and sports science, and that's the general one. Like it's not just the sports management part of it. It's just everything, and I want to use that strength and conditioning coach, physical trainer, all sorts of types of things. I know that pathway can lead me on to so much more. But just the campus itself is beautiful. I just love it there. All the different type of people. It's very diverse. And then like it has that small town feel. Like Chapel Hill it's actually bigger than what I thought, but like it kind of reminds me of where I live. It's like people think, oh, Hartwell, it's just a little small. Ain't nothing. Like it ain't nothing there, but it's really bigger than what you think it is. And like that's what. And Chapel Hill reminds me of where I live. And it's just like it was so much that connected with me in that place. And that's why I committed so quick. And it was like not just the football aspect of it, but it was also the environment. Because if you only feel so much about one way, and then the other way you're just like, I don't know, that could really be a deal breaker for you. Like it's just that's how it was for me. It's like everything connected, and it felt great for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at Hartwell now. That's kind of really close to South Carolina, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like if you cross our lake, then you're pretty much in South Carolina.
Yeah, the Savannah River. Cool. Awesome. So moving on, this 2020 recruiting class was ranked number 19 in the country. What is your relationship like with that class? Who are some of the guys you talk to a lot? What's the group chat like? And what do you think about UNC's 2020 class that obviously you're a part of and going to be tied to for your Tar Heel career?
2020 class, we've actually started off pretty well. You had some commits that's been there since like September 2019 that just got recruited, and then you got some people that just came September 2018, and then and then you got some people that just came up like myself. Like I committed like on a later date. They didn't really expect me to commit, like one of those situations. I came out of the blue, but once I did, they just brought me in, and I connected with some of them, running back Elijah Green, wide receiver Ray Rose, offensive tackle Caden Baker. I kind of connected with those boys, and they're pretty chill. They're awesome. But this 2020 class is something special. I know like everything going on with this coronavirus and stuff, that's really took a toll on us. But that's why I feel like 2020 is different. We went through so much, and people don't really acknowledge it. But we really and truly have a special class, and not only just in high school, but in everything that we do. And that plays into this 2020 class going into UNC, because we have a very special class. This is our first class being recruited by Coach Mac Brown, with him being there. And I feel like we're going to make an impact the second that we get on there. whether if we start or whether that we're behind somebody or either that we redshirted. Like, it doesn't even matter what the case is. It's like we're gonna make an impact, and I feel like we started off on the right foot with the recruiting, and we're gonna kick it off right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are excited about what your class can do on the defensive side of the ball because you have yourself as a rush defender, then you add in, defenders, A.J. Beatty, Clyde Pinder on the defensive line, Miles Murphy, Des Evans, and the safety, Ja'Coris Conley, that I know Don's really high on. So defensively, I think your class is going to really lay the kind of the foundation. Kedrick Bingley Jones, Cameron Roseman Sinclair. Yeah, so all right, Don.
Yeah, so before we actually get into the details of that stuff, you actually had I guess we can call it a significant setback during your senior season. You tore your lateral meniscus in your knee that when initially happened, you weren't sure if you were going to return, but you did later on that season. Kind of just tell me what was it like your senior season, having to go through that, and just the rehab, and how is the knee right now?
Going through that, it was devastating. It really was. Nobody ever wants to go through that their senior season. Nobody wants to go through that period. I could honestly say this: if it was my junior year and I got injured at the time of that, I probably would have said, "Okay, my season's done." I would have honestly said that. But but with me, I don't like to go out of style. I don't. I like to go out on top. I like to have that. Okay, I gave it all I had situation. And when I got hurt, it was just like, man, I don't even know. Like, I told everybody, I'm like, there's a possibility I might not be able to come back. The doctors told me my season was over. But with me, I can't take no for an answer. I refuse. Like, if I'm hurt, I'm gonna push through it. I don't care how bad it hurts. I don't care if I'm hurting at the moment. It may look like I'm hurt, but I'm not gonna tell you that I'm hurt. I'm just gonna lie to you. But it's just like one of those situations where I pushed through rehab. I did all this other kind of stuff, and I told my doctor, he's like, you know what? I feel good. I feel fine. Just give me a knee brace and I'll play. And they were iffy about it. They didn't know there was still some swelling in my knee. They was like, look, go through this. I went through like a one-on-one training with my specialist, and they was just like, look, if you do well, if everything looks good, if your balance looks good, you can go back out there. And everything worked out, and I ended up coming back in the second playoff game, and we made it to the third round. So I ended up playing 2 more games. I went from not going to play the rest of the season to playing 2 of the last games in the playoffs, and that is really just it held a special moment in me because I didn't at first. Nobody thought I was coming back. Nobody really thought that I was going to be able to finish out my season. I didn't think I was going to finish out my season at first. But when I strapped it on for those last 2 games, it just really it hit me hard. And that last game that we lost, it just hit different because, it's like I'm not trying to sound independent because I know I couldn't have done anything. My recruiting wouldn't have even started if it wasn't for my team. They really came up this year. We really came up this year. And we really just turned our program around. But it just hit different because I gave it all I had this year. Like, I literally put my body on the line. I could have even tore something worse playing, because I felt like I could have played. I could have ended up something worse, but I didn't. By the grace of God, I didn't. But my knee's doing just fine now. It's I'm training it really good. It's getting a lot of balance. It's getting stronger. I'm getting faster. We're working on linebacker type stuff at the house. Of course not right now because it's like storming and stuff. But like me and my dad, we rocking it. We're hitting it hard. Always posting something. We're always doing something. Whether it's doing heels, doing ladders, doing linebacker specific stuff, and on the field. And it's just like I said, I can't stay still. It's just something. It's stuff we're doing.
Is this injury something that could potentially, I guess, reoccur or maybe even lessen maybe your explosion or anything like that? Or is there any after effects to this? Or are you going to be, whenever you take the field, be 100% and not have any worries about the knee?
No, I don't feel like this is going to be a recurring thing because I had a full meniscus repair in my 9th grade year. I was wrestling, went in for a takedown, my knee popped 3 times, and I had a full meniscus repair, and my right knee hasn't been giving me issues since. And I feel like from then with this one, it was a partial tear, so it wasn't a full one. And where the tear was, all they had to do was just cut it off in the spine. So I don't feel like this is going to be a recurring issue. There's no aftermath. There is no reoccurring issue. It's just, of course, later on in not my later on as in college wise, but later on in my life, I was going to have arthritis, which is okay. But, it's just right now, no aftermath, no after effects, no little things going on. Everything's gonna be fine. When I get to UNC, everything's gonna be fine. Of course I'm gonna have to take precautions at first, but hey, it is what it is, but nothing's gonna happen.
That's good to hear.
Don's already got arthritis.
This is not true.
Hey, I'm about to join the club later, so don't worry. I'll just save my seat for me.
Don's got a lot of medical issues. All right.
Ross has mental issues.
What weight class did you wrestle in?
I wrestled. I was a decently sized kid in 9th grade. I think I wrestled in the heavyweight, which is basically our 225 up.
And did you do that all 4 years, or did you stop wrestling at some point?
No, once I had that injury, I stopped.
Oh, I got you. Good. All right. So, what have you heard about enrolling at UNC? Because I know y'all were supposed to kind of enroll, I think, for the first summer session in June. What have the coaches been telling you? I'm sure you've been talking with your position coach and Coach Brown. What have they said about when you're going to get to campus? I mean, obviously, we don't really know for sure.
Okay, so the summer school date is still going on. It's still June 22nd. That's still going on with our summer classes. We're just going to be taking everything online, of course. To get everybody on campus, that is in the air right now. And they're saying they're trying to get us in by July 1st or like something along those lines. And then I'm hearing other stuff saying, no, we're not going to have a fall, or it's just different stuff that I'm hearing. And it's just like I'm not gonna listen to any of the hype. I ain't listening to none of that. If Coach Brown didn't say it, if Coach DeWitt didn't say it, if none of my defensive coaches said it, then I'm not gonna believe it. So it's just like, all we got to do is listen. That's really all we got to do right now. Whatever they tell us to do, we're gonna do it. Right now, with our freshman class, we're still trying to get everything together. With everything that's happening, it's like everything that usually happens is kind of delayed, like our orientation and getting our not Chromebooks, but laptops and all this other kind of stuff. It's been really delayed. Like you would think something's happening, but it's really not. It's just it's a different system now. And so right now it's just up in the air. We really don't know when we're coming back. I hope sooner rather than later. And I pray that our season works out like we want to.
Now, North Carolina recruited you for that outside linebacker rushing the quarterback position. And when you committed, Scott Boone coached that position. Since then, he's left the staff, and Javon DeWitt is now the position coach. What's that transition been like to DeWitt, and what are your thoughts on him from the little bit that you know and the little bit you've been able to talk to him?
First of all, I hate that Coach Boone left. It is like we gained a relationship. He started my recruiting over there. Like, of course, Coach Bateman got me, but then once I got there, Coach Boone, he just kind of took me underneath, and he was just like, "What's up, man?" and all this other kind of stuff. So I hate that he left. We connected, and we connected at our family connected with him. We had fun. He was on our official visit as well, and the fact that he left after my official visit, that just didn't. It was just like, dang, I hate it. But, I don't want to say it's a good thing, but, like, I didn't gain a full relationship. Like, I didn't actually get coached by him enough to be, like, have a negative mindset about Coach DeWitt coming in. But when Coach DeWitt came in, it was weird at first because I didn't really know him that much. But as we started talking, as we started, like, getting to know each other, Coach DeWitt, he's a cool dude, man, and I can't wait to be coached by him. Very intelligent, very he sees the game in a different lens than everybody else does, and that's a coach I would love to be around because, of course, I'm being recruited as my position. They see me physically, they're not questioning my physical attributes. They want to test me in my mental game. They want to see how far I can get from point A to point B without doing a list of this. They want to see how I can cover. They want to see how I can do all these types of things. And I feel like Coach DeWitt is one of those people that can break it down for me. We can sit in the room, look at film, and be like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to look for, and this is how you do it. And Coach DeWitt is that type of person. He breaks down film. He breaks down the person in front of you. He breaks down yourself. And that's the type of coach that I want, because that's the type of coach I want to be. If when I have my kids, I want to be that person of like, hey, this is what you need to do. I want to break down stuff for people like that. And to be around knowledge just like that is it's really cool. And I can't wait to get started with Coach DeWitt. We have already kicked off right. We share common interests and all this other kind of stuff. I've already done the outside linebacker Zoom meetings and stuff like that. And so, just being in those meetings with Fox and Hopper and Nobles and all them, it's just like it's really cool, and I'm glad that I'm learning from them and Coach DeWitt as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we had a chance to interview DeWitt, I think shortly after he got hired, and yeah, I mean he seems very positive, sharp guy, and so I think he was a good addition to the staff. So yeah, it's awesome to get to work with him. Okay, so yeah, we're kind of getting into UNC and what you're going to do once you get there. As a player, you're playing that outside linebacker position, that kind of rush defensive end type role. What do you see? What kind of player are you? How would you describe yourself? And what do you think you can bring to the UNC defense and kind of what the coaches have been telling you?
The type of player that I am, I feel like I am I'm more typically an edge rusher than than what people think I am. Like when people ask me what position I play, of course I say outside linebacker. But my thing is getting after the quarterback. That's what I live for. That's my aura right there. That's what I do. And I love to get after the quarterback. I love to hit. I like to hit people. And the thing is like what I feel like I can bring to the table is like I feel like I can bring energy without being, as vocal as what like people sometimes think I am. I'm a very vocal person. I love to talk. I do. But it's just like when it comes down to playing, I don't do a lot of talking. I let my actions speak for me. And I feel like that's like, I can make my impact by being physical and not saying them a whole lot. I talk junk every now and then. I share a couple of words, but I mean, like besides that, it's like I just want people to know what I do.
On that note, what has Bateman and DeWitt kind of told you about how they're going to use you? Outside of the, rushing the passer, what other kind of role does that outside linebacker position have in UNC's defense?
Well, it kind of holds it's like, it's like your typical outside linebacker, it's just like you watch the run, you watch the pass, you watch just pretty much everything. It's just with me, I'm majority rushing most of the time. But covering is what I'm going to have to start adding to my play set, because that's what I'm probably going to be doing sometimes, not like all the time like your usual linebackers do, like Surratt and all them, but I'm going to have to be covering the flat sometimes. I'm going to have to get on the low hook or curl. There's going to be times where I'm going to have to drop in the middle and watch the drag. There's going to be some stuff that I'm going to have to watch for now. And Bateman, when he explained the position to me, he sees me as majority of a rusher. DeWitt, he also sees me as a rusher, but also get me in that covering stage as well. So, I'm just playing that position to how they want me to play it. Of course, they know how I rush the passer, but also they want to work on my covering game as well.
Awesome. And, UNC lost a couple outside linebackers, Alan Cater and Dominique Ross. They returned Tamon Fox and Chris Collins and Tyrone Hopper. But, how quickly do you think you can see the field? Because, they need pass rushers. That's always a big thing. And so if you can get the job done, there might be early playing time for you even as a freshman. What have you kind of heard, and what do you think about that?
For one, I'm glad that those people came back, especially Tamon and Hopper, because I know for one, they're Georgia boys. And, you can't beat Georgia boys. That's just, it is what it is. But also at the same time, just to learn from them and learn the game quickly, I feel like that's going to be a great experience for me as well. But I feel like I can see the field pretty quick. Of course, college has a different speed to it, and it's like everything's just faster. The running back's faster, quarterback's faster, offensive tackles are faster, the guards are faster, and I mean, like everything is just fast. But with me, I change and adapt. I do. Whatever the speed you want me at, I'm gonna go over it. Like it's just not there is no stopping for me. I just go even if even if I miss a tackle, I'm gonna go full speed anyway. I'm gonna get back up and try to make the tackle again. It's just like I feel like I can see the field pretty quick. Rushing the edge, I feel like I have a different skill set than everybody else does. I feel like I can get off that edge a little bit quicker than everybody else. I feel like I have that good first step. I feel like I have that knowledge of how I want to set up my offensive tackle to set me up for a better sack. It's just because obviously I don't fear anybody. You're not going to intimidate me. I don't care how big you are. So if I already have that mindset along with my knowledge of how to pass rush you, then you're really not going to stop me at all. Even if I mess up, you're not going to make me look bad. So that's how I feel about it.
So we've mentioned his name a bunch of times, Jay Bateman, and he's such a unique guy. He's not your typical coach. And obviously Ross and I know him from the media perspective. From a recruit perspective, what's Jay Bateman like?
Coach Bateman, he's really cool, man. He's a great guy. He's one of those people you want to just sit down and just like have a meeting with, just pick, not necessarily pick his mind, but like what his knowledge of the game is. It's kind of like Coach DeWitt. He has a lot of knowledge that he's willing to share, and that's what I like about him. He's very knowledgeable. He's really articulate about the game of football because I mean, like he's coached for good programs such as Army, and their defense has actually been pretty successful as he was over there. But Coach Bateman in recruiting, he's been pretty straightforward. I would say for the most part, he was really into like, hey, we need to get you down here. This is where we're gonna have you playing if you come, and like this is how it's gonna go. And I would rather a coach be straightforward with me. I love straightforward coaches. They don't sugarcoat anything. I would rather receive the harsh truth than you telling me a fib. Like I don't want that. And like I don't want nobody sugarcoating me saying, "Hey, oh yeah, you'll get playing time off the rip. You ain't even got to worry about it." Next thing you know, I get up there and then I don't start. It's just like I'm not having that I have that playing time mentality, but at the same time, I'm not having that. Oh, I'm going to go up there and start. I'm not here to take part. I'm here to take over kind of situation. But I'm not having that entitled spirit with me as well. But Coach Bateman, he kept it straightforward with me. He said what's going to happen. This is how it's going to go. How we're going to do it. And Coach Bateman, he's really cool, man. I appreciate him for being that way.
Awesome. You got a lot of good like one-liners. I've noticed, like little sayings and one-liners.
Thank you. That comes around me hanging around some old heads.
Yeah, I need to start using some of these. All right, so we'll kind of wrap it up here. We've talked a lot of football because you play football, and this is a football podcast. But to kind of get to know you a little bit more, what are some things you kind of want fans to know about you? What are some of your hobbies? What do you like to do outside of football? Is there a couple of things that you're interested in that you would like to share?
Yeah. Very sociable, man. I
could tell.
I talk to everybody. I have a heart for everybody. So, it's just trust me. My persona on the field is not how I am in real life. Trust me, that's not me. I know how to balance that out well. My hobbies. I love to write poems. I like this video games. I like to I love listening to music.
What are some of your favorite things to listen to? What kind of music?
I like rap, of course, and then like R&B. I like jazz every now and then. It's just different type of stuff. Like I'm like one of those feel the vibe type of song listeners. It's like if I'm in a pregame, I'm listening to hard rap. Like this, it is what it is. Even in the 1990s, I'm listening to NWA. I'm listening to all these other Tribe Called Quest. I'm listening to all these other type of people. Like if it's coming down to it, then I'm gonna listen to those people. But it's like if I'm chilling and I'm just like to myself, probably studying somewhere. And, I'm going to listen to my R&B. I'm going to listen to my jazz, because I don't want to get riled up for my dang homework and end up breaking my pencil and tearing my paper up. Like, I ain't got time for that. That's a easy zero. But, it's just one of those type of things. But yeah, I'm very easy. I'm very easygoing. I'm not hard at all. Like I'm a sweetheart. I'm just gonna put it to you that way.
Sweetheart from Hart County. All right, Don, You got anything else? Got anything else for Kaimon?
No, I just really appreciate Kaimon coming on the podcast with us, and I think he was one of the guys when we talked about who we wanted as a guest. He was one of the guys that I thought about because I feel like he does have a great story that a lot of people haven't heard because, like you mentioned, he's a little bit overlooked because I think because of his location in Georgia and the fact that he basically had to kind of work for his offers and rankings and all that sort of stuff. So I'm glad that he was able to share that with us. So I really appreciate you doing that, Kaimon.
Oh, yes, sir. No problem at all.
All right. Appreciate Kaimon. When we come back, we will jump into our top 5 and we'll be right back. And we're back with the Scoop podcast, UNC's premier football recruiting podcast. That was great, Don. Kaimon Rucker. We had Jefferson Boaz on a couple of weeks ago. This is our second one with Kaimon. You told me how good he would be, and he definitely lived up to the hype.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the kids I really enjoyed working with throughout his recruitment. He was one of the ones that always, because obviously in his area, Georgia, it wasn't the easiest to get updates on his games and what his team was doing. So he was always super reliable, come back to you right away with what was going on. Every time I interviewed him, I knew he was going to give me great quotes. So I knew he'd be perfect for this. And the thing too, which I don't want to say I didn't expect, but it was great to hear, is just how he was able to kind of look back and give us really kind of his mindset on things, particularly about just what was going on. Ross, you asked a great question about just those 4 days and just whether he was pressured or everything, and he gave some really good answers and really good insight.
Yeah, I mean, and a really likable personality and great mentality he had to kind of, obviously kind of a, I guess, underrated, overlooked prospect early on and got a couple big Power 5 offers, jumped on it. And, I mean, that mentality will do you well. If you've been overlooked, you're always fighting for something, and that will push you in the weight room and push you in practice, and you're always going to be competing and stuff, and that will help you get better. So, I mean, that's the kind of people you want, the hungry people. Sometimes players come in 5 stars, 4 stars, and they act like they don't have to work. And it seems like Rucker understands he's going to have to work and has been working to show what he can do. All right. Anything else on that, Don?
No, I think you summed it up really well. And, like I said, I really appreciate him coming on and he did an awesome job. I think the fans are really going to enjoy that for so many reasons because of, you mentioned about the underdog mentality and you can kind of feel his intensity. And I think the fans always love that, but also the fact that he was able to give some insight and really just a likable kid.
For sure. Okay, so we've moved our chit chat to the second half of the podcast. I mentioned you mentioned your anniversary. I want a little inside scoop onto how Don Callahan proposed to his wife.
Oh, yeah. This is probably the worst. There is no special proposal, nothing like that whatsoever. It's actually. It was.
It was at a Phillies game. It was at a Phillies game, wasn't it?
It wasn't even. It wasn't even that. It's so if it wasn't for the fact that it resulted in our marriage, it wouldn't have been memorable whatsoever. I mean, it was just a.
You put the ring inside of a Philly cheesesteak and put extra cheese whiz on it, and then gave it to your wife.
Something like that.
Moving on. All right, top 5. We'll close it out. We had top 5 drinks was the topic. So we'll get into that now. And remember, the next top 5 is top 5 holidays. All right. I think this is a good question because it's kind of a common question. You say, like, what are your top 5 holidays? And people are like, well, what do you really like? I mean, is it Christmas? Is it Thanksgiving? Or is it something that's just like more fun, like a Halloween or July 4th, St. Patty's Day? I think a lot of people have some different answers for this. and you can get creative with it.
Well, I
Some
think
people
you can also tell a lot about a person by what holidays they like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Your holiday would probably be ones that are based around food, right?
My favorite holiday, and I actually believe that I've mentioned this on the podcast already, but my favorite holiday, I'm pretty sure nobody else will get, and nobody else will have on their list. So,
Okay. And I think you get creative with this. Like, some people consider certain days of the calendar for sports a holiday. National Signing Day is kind of our holiday in the recruiting world. So there we have it. All right, top 5 drinks. Don, let's read 2. We got a lot of submissions, didn't we?
We did.
Let's fly through 3 each, okay?
All right.
Okay, I'll go first. Dale from Waxhaw. He always submits. Number 1, sweet tea. He likes it super sweet. 2, water. He drinks at least 12 cups a day. 3, Cheerwine, my go-to soft drink. And being from Waxhaw, he's pretty close to the birthplace of Cheerwine. 4, lemonade. My wife makes a killer strawberry lemonade that hits a spot on a summer day. I love a good strawberry lemonade. And 5, ice cold beer. For a cheap beer, you got to have Yingling. Otherwise, we'll grab a local craft brew. Don?
All right, so I'm trying to look for someone who hasn't done one. Okay, I think Daniel has not submitted. This is the first time he's submitted. And he says he took a different approach to this, which is another good reason why I should read this. Number 5, big soda at the movies. Number 4, barrel-aged Manhattan at Crunkton after UNC game.
Crunkleton
after UNC game. Number 3, water fountain between pickup basketball games.
Yeah, that's a good moment.
That is. Number 2, cold beer after mowing lawn. And number 1, Sunday morning coffee.
Boom. Okay. I'm going to go. We got Ding Dong submitting. All right. I'll go back up to the top here. I'm going to go Michelle from Charlotte. Now, this may be Michelle Lawler.
It is.
It may not be. Okay.
And we are allowed to, I guess, reveal her identity.
That's Jake's mom.
She says she listens all the time. She only submits just every so often.
Yeah.
And this was in response to me calling her out to make sure she submits. So she needs to submit her favorite holidays because I know that she has favorite holidays. So I'm calling her out again.
Yeah, Michelle told me she listens to almost every podcast we do in terms of the whole Inside Carolina network. All right, Michelle from Charlotte, Jake Lawler's mom. I'll read from the top here. Sweet tea is what she drinks too much of. She likes a chai tea latte. I also like chai tea. She likes hot green tea. If she's at the movies, she gets a Sprite. And then she likes frozen margaritas. Good list there. A lot of green stuff. Green tea, margaritas. Yeah. Sprite,
all
kind of green vibes.
I'm going to go with John from Lynchburg. Number 5, sweet tea. Number 4, Cheerwine. Number 3, Sundrop. Number 2, Coke. And number 1, Tom Collins.
Okay.
I don't know what Tom Collins is. Do you?
There's it's a alcoholic drink. It's like a
Well,
cocktail.
I knew that. But do you know exactly what it is?
No, you have to have Tom Collins mix. I don't know. I'm assuming a guy named Tom Collins founded it.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a bunch of good ones.
Maybe his brother.
We have a bunch of good ones here. I'm going to read Ben from Birmingham. He has a bunch of descriptions here. He's originally from Charlotte. He's a first-time submitter and a lifelong Tar Heel fan, 24 years. Here's my top 5 drink list. Let's say beer. Love a nice cold beer to wind down after a day and watch a game with. Nothing better. Best served with golf. His favorite brand is Sierra Nevada, which has a place in Asheville or outside Asheville. And his favorite individual beer is a Land Shark Draft on the beach. Tell me where you can get draft beer on the beach. Okay. Dr. Pepper. Best soda there is. Only other reasonable choice is Cheerwine, which I have to get when I visit home. Sweet tea. Best served with dinner. I mean, it can't be beat, usually, especially if homemade by your grandmother. If you drink unsweetened tea, you're wrong, and I don't like you. Milk. Best served with cookies or Oreos. People that don't drink milk with dessert probably wear socks with their sliders. I bet you have no idea what sliders are, do you, Don?
Are they not the no, I think I do, but I'm not sure.
Okay. I think those are kind of a type of sandal.
Yeah. They're like flip-flops, but you slide on. Yeah, my kids have them.
Yeah. All right. And then he has Amaretto Sour as his last choice. Best mixed drink there is, simple to make too. Di Serono or Amaretto mixed with lemon juice, can spice up with an orange slice or simple sugar, but I like it plain and simple. Good list there.
All right, so since you're ignoring Ding Dong from Orange County, California, I figure I'll read his. He gives a little bit of a description here, or a little bit of, disclaimer. Although Ding Dong has been on a brief hiatus, he has returned and is poised to continue delivering valued content to the fellow Tar Heel Brotherhood. Here's Ding Dong's top 5 drink preferences categorized by his various states of mind. All right, this should be interesting. Number 5, the West Coast Beatnik, medicine ball from the local hole in the wall coffee shop. My daughter just walked in and is now listening. Peach tea, mint tea, lemonade, and honey. Number 4, the Meathead, chocolate protein shake with honey almond milk. Number 3, the Gentleman, scotch on the rocks with a Cuban cigar. This is, he says, monkey shoulders scotch whiskey, of course. Number 2, the Raleigh Redneck, chocolate yoo-hoo with a banana moon pie. And finally, number 1, the Tar Heel Game Day Prep, 1 shot of Carolina Blue Soda Baby, vintage 1982 and 1993.
Interesting. All right, awesome. I'm going to read one more just because I think I know who this is. But remember, if we didn't read yours, we're definitely seeing it and definitely appreciate you submitting and getting ideas from this. A lot of good submissions this time. All right, Rupert from Raleigh, V8 on ice, healthy option, and have grown to love it over the years.
You know Rupert?
I'm not sure. I think he's this guy on Twitter.
Okay.
That, I don't know, who knows? We we have a guy named Ding Dong submitting. That's not his real name. This guy could be anybody.
Are you sure that's not his real name, though? Like, what if Ding Dong was able to produce a birth certificate with Ding Dong as his name?
Yeah, that'd be wild. All right, back to Rupert. Coffee. I'm a sales manager for JFG, French Market and New England brand coffee, so a shameless plug, okay? 3, orange soda. 2, sweet tea, Louisiana tea, or get out of here. Number 1, Tito's soda lime. Sometimes the blue cup isn't big enough. All right, good stuff. Don, let's jump into ours. You go first, your top 5 drinks.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm going first because I feel like mine are super boring. So I obviously drink stuff, and I really kind of struggled with trying to figure out how to do this list. So I just kind of went the order of how much I drink them. Which is really boring. My number 1 is really boring. All right, so number 5, Mountain Dew. I don't drink a whole lot of it, but if I need something at night that to keep me up, particularly when I'm driving, or just a little pick me up, that's gonna be my Mountain Dew.
You know who's a big Diet Mountain Dew guy?
I actually know a few, but I don't know who you're referring to. Who is it?
Greg Barnes.
Is he really?
He has diet soda, so I think it's Diet Mountain Dew. I think that's it. I think he likes some other diet drinks too.
I can't do Diet Mountain Dew. I feel like there's definitely a different taste, and it's not the same. So I won't even drink it. I feel like it's nasty.
Sammy Batten. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sammy Batten, who covers UNC and the ACC for Fayetteville.
Fayetteville Observer.
He's a huge Mountain Dew guy.
Gotcha. Okay, I can see it.
Shout
keeps you awake.
Out, Sammy.
I've heard. I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that it actually has more caffeine than coffee. So I don't know.
It's loaded with sugar. Those things are loaded with sugar. All right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll get to that what I was about to say when I get to my number 1. Anyway, number 4, beer. I really drink anything. I guess if I'm going to pick something up from the store, it's going to be like a Yingling. But I love to go to a place that has a lot of like different types. And when I mean different types, I'm not like one of those beer nerds like, oh, this one's hoppy, not like that. I'm probably like more of a kid with beer, where like I have a place nearby, the Bass Lake Ale House, that will have stuff like I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a s'mores beer where it tasted kind of like
You've already told us about this.
Oh, did I? All right, so
yeah.
I won't go into too much detail on that then. But yeah, so I like those type of beers where it's just the different flavors, vanilla, whatever it may be. All right, so
you like beers that taste like the food you like.
Exactly. Which, if you listen to this podcast consistently, that shouldn't surprise you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 3, Gatorade is definitely my go-to if I cover a high school practice in August out there in the sun for 3 hours straight, dripping of sweat, just need something to drink. That's usually what quenches my thirst. I'll definitely run over to a gas station and do that. What was it, like 2 for $5 deal all the time, and just guzzle both of them before I even
What's
make
your
it to my
favorite?
car.
What's your favorite flavor?
My favorite flavor is the green, the apple.
Green Gatorade. Okay. Whoa,
The apple
interesting.
one, though.
Ugh.
And
Oh,
that
weird.
one's kind of hard. I don't want to say it's hard to find, but not every place carries it. But I absolutely love it. If I don't go green, I'll just go red. I feel like a lot of the other flavors kind of taste all the same, to be honest.
Green Gatorade. Ugh, yucky.
Yeah.
What a
All right.
weirdo.
Number 2, coffee. I'm actually not a big coffee drinker. I'm not one of those people who wakes up and has to have coffee like my wife, but I'm more of like almost kind of like a snack. So I probably, how do you have your coffee?
I mean, I just make some here, French press with a little milk or a little sugar, and then I usually make a big French press and then have iced coffee in the afternoon.
What would you say the percentage of milk that's in your coffee that you put in?
Oh, I drink almond milk usually. I don't keep dairy milk in my.
No, but I mean, what's the
my,
percentage? Like, how much of the actual liquid is milk?
I mean, just like a splash or two.
All right,
So like we're talking 2%, 3% of the liquid.
So, and this shouldn't surprise anybody who has listened to this podcast, but so we do those big, I'm sure they're super sugary creamers, and
Yeah, they're
for
so good.
my wife, yeah. So my wife, I'll probably put like, I don't know, 5 to 10% of that. For me, it's like probably 30-40% creamer of my coffee. So that's probably why it's not like this need that I have to have coffee for caffeine to wake me up in the morning, and I'm fine with drinking it in the afternoon. And actually, there's a lot of times where I'll drink coffee and then take a nap and with no problem. Anyway, all right. So my number 1, super, super boring, water. I drink water all day long, every day. Going back to what I was going to say with the Mountain Dew, one of the things, Ross, who definitely cares about my weight and my health, back actually when my daughter was born was when I probably weighed my heaviest. I was like 235-ish, I guess. One of the things I gave up where I lost like a ton of weight was soda, and I just went straight water, and I lost like 10 pounds easy.
How quickly did you lose that weight after
like
you gave
really
it up?
really quickly? And I mean, I was
Like
drinking a lot of Mountain
a couple
Dew.
weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I've always had, believe it or not, I've always had like a fast metabolism. I just like to eat really bad things like all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I've heard that, giving up soda quickly can make you lose weight. I think if you gave up that creamer, man, you'd be skinny.
Yeah, this is true. I was actually talking to Miles Murphy, and we ran a story on him last week. It's about his enrollment, and this didn't make it into the story. But, he's trying to lose weight, and he has lost some weight. And he told me the same thing, that he gave up soda and just drinking a bunch of water. So
it's tough, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my super exciting top 5.
That's good. All right, let me jump into mine here real quick, and we will be out of here. My top 5. Now, what inspired this top 5 was I did this with a group chat. We were kind of just sharing our favorite drinks and stuff. So I'll go number 5, ice water. Okay, nothing exciting there, but I drink a lot of water as well, all during the day, especially after workouts and stuff. So ice water, number 1. And number 5. Number 4, purple Gatorade. Like you said, after a hot day, after a workout, when it's really hot and you're really dripping sweat, I go purple Gatorade. But I mean, I'll drink any Gatorade, red, orange, lemon, lime. Those are my favorites. I'll go 3 will be my alcoholic drink of choice. And that's a Sierra Nevada beer. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is my favorite beer. I like IPAs and Pale Ales the most. So those hoppy beers would be my go-to. There's tons of different IPAs I enjoy. Like to support the local. I guess Sierra Nevada is not very local since they're based in California, but Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. There we go. And
Made in America.
Made in America, yeah, that's right. Only drink American beer. Number 2 would be sweet tea with lemon. I don't drink it that often, but sometimes when you're at a restaurant, barbecue restaurant or southern restaurant, it kind of hits a spot. Or like a Bojangles or McDonald's, they both have really good sweet tea. So I'll go with that. Cookout has good sweet tea as well. And then my number 1 drink, and I've actually tried to limit this, and I might be giving up soda as well, and I haven't been drinking that many, is I would go cherry Coke, probably number 1, but along the same lines, Dr. Pepper, Cheerwine, regular Coke, cherry flavored sodas. Those are my favorite. Colas with cherry or some sort of spinoff of that. Love it over ice. Obviously, crunchy ice would be the best, like the crushed little pellet ice. But even at sporting events, at UNC football games, they have the in the press box they have fountain Coke. Love it, cherry Coke. Any questions, Don?
That actually reminds me of something that I've just slowly started to drink a little bit more as far as alcoholic. And this is going to sound very frou-frou, but this goes back to my whole palate that we've been discussing. Black cherry Mike's Hard Lemonade has been really good, and it's just a very, very strong flavor, especially if you like the cherry. And I will drink that and not stop.
I said honorable mention for me would be Dr. Brown's black cherry or Dr. Brown's cream soda or root beer.
Okay, I don't think I've had Dr. Brown's anything. I feel like you might be making this up.
You usually find them at like delis. There's a deli in Greensboro that has them.
Are you a wine drinker?
Not really. Just in certain situations with certain people.
Yeah, that's how I am.
Yeah, I mean, I don't seek it out, but I have no issue with it.
Yeah,
just sometimes with a meal, with a nice meal, it's nice to have a bottle here and there. Outside of beer, I usually go like a whiskey drink. I've been getting into scotch a little bit as well. So bourbon, whiskey, but yeah, kind of making cocktails here and there. All right, Donald, good stuff. Great interview with Kaimon. Great scoop there. Check out the weekly scoop, and we'll check you next time, whether that is next week or the week after. Remember the new top 5. And for Don, I'm Ross Martin, and this has been The Scoop.
My best friend, he's a warm-hearted person who loved me till the end. People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a one-boy cuddly toy, my own, my now, my pride and joy. People, let me tell you about him. It's so much fun, whether we're talking man to man or whether we're talking son to son.
Thanks for listening to another podcast from InsideCarolina.com. Brought to you by JohnnyT-shirt.com. Where to go for your next Tar Heel gear purchase.